speaking of Rick Hahn, what a perfect setup, Smitty. How about we get into a little Wrath of Hahn as I don't even know what to say at this point. I mean,
Wrath of Hahn. We talked about the origins of Wrath of Hahn. We're from 2016, where one of the weirdest, worst years in White Sox history. So many bizarre things were happening. I coined the term Wrath of Hahn as a hashtag because I thought it sounded cool, but to kind of describe everything that Rick Hahn had put his hands on had somehow turned to shit. And
yeah,
he was, never had a season above 500 at that point, but now that has turned around a bit. But this season, the injuries are mounting to an alarming state. It's happening across Major League Baseball, but the impact players that you are
yeah,
having injury issues with are is astounding. So I think it's got to be there's something remarkable in a horrible way for what's happening to the White Sox right now. So poking fun at Rick Hahn being responsible for all this is one way that we can frame it, but certainly not his fault. But I mean, yesterday alone, you had three players go out with injury. You had Danny Mendick was the most serious with the collision with one of your Adams. I can't keep track of how many Adams you've had on your squad over the years, but
Heasley
yes,
or Hesley or Heasley. Yeah.
I have not seen the diagnosis, but it looked like a serious knee injury for Mendick, who's been a fantastic replacement for TA since he was out for 3 weeks. Have you
Yeah,
seen an update?
and no, I haven't seen an update. I looked this morning. There wasn't an update. We'll get all that, I'm sure, with the official White Sox announcement of purchasing the contract of Sosa and all the moves they'll
That's
be
right.
making today. But that is almost a LaRussa Palooza type of thing too, in the fact that why again the White Sox fielding not good. Call the freaking ball so that doesn't happen. And even if you call the ball and the ball falls, fine.
Yeah, at least you didn't blow out your
But
teammate's knee.
yeah, you didn't blow out your teammate's knee. So you had that, which is again to me that's poor coaching and managing like that. They can't do a simple task. You had Adam Engel leave with a leg injury. I have not seen
I
an
heard the dreaded
update
word
of
hamstring that has come up
yes,
more often than
hamstring.
any other injury.
Um, you had Lewis Robert, who has, and so does Jose Abreu, just to add to this list. They have general leg soreness.
That's what I had written down here, which is a little disturbing what that means.
It seems to be a White Sox thing, a
A
Sox
Sox type
type
thing, so
thing.
to speak.
Yes, Lewis. In addition, Larussa he didn't necessarily think Robert was going to miss any playing time, so we'll see.
Well, he wasn't running out like an easy double
Yeah,
yesterday, which caught
yeah,
Steve Stone's ire. Maybe an injury would help explain that, but Stone was pissed about that. Why he wasn't standing at
yeah,
second on that one play yesterday afternoon. The
yeah.
other
So
hamstring issue I have written down is Moncada just went on the
yeah,
IL with another hamstring issue. So
yeah, that was kind of retraded. We got Timmy back and sent Mikata to the IL just as he was starting to hit. So that's not good news. The only good news, I mean, the only thing is Berger has done a very admirable job. In fact, he's hitting way better than Mikata. The defense is the biggest issue for Berger. And it'll be interesting to see where they slot Lennon Sosa in. Will he even play tonight? I mean, Tony has a way of
I think
having
he
someone
has
come
to.
up and then not even utilize him. But well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And I had mentioned is Gavin Sheets being a late scratch yesterday with no news of any type of injury. So is he returning too? Are we going to see basically an announcement of Mendick and Engel both go on the IL? And Sheets and Sosa get called up. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um,
That's probably happening as we're recording this or shortly
yeah,
thereafter.
the White Sox, normally that news comes out around 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. So Not sure why in particular, but that's usually around the time the news officially breaks on Twitter accounts from
Right
White
after
Sox.
TLR's nap, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he wakes up, Sleepy McGee over there. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just expected at this point, almost like you just kind of watch a game and wait to see who's gonna leave it with an injury or get injured. It's a disturbing trend. It was a trend that was disturbing enough for them to switch training, kind of reinvent their training staff, but that doesn't seem to help. Maybe it's because it was just people who came from internally in the organization. Maybe the training needs to move outside of the organization, and bring in.
Well, you fired your head trainer of,
Yeah,
well, that was 2020, so it's a whole new regime in there at this point. So I don't know.
but
I don't know.
they all are internal promotions and stuff like
That's
that.
been
They weren't from the outside, so that's
correct.
where, like, the
But
question
correct me if
comes
I'm
in.
wrong. Like I felt for, at least the Don Cooper era, I felt like, well, specifically your pitchers never got hurt. Maybe that's still
No,
happening. I felt it was almost uncanny, like how few injuries the White Sox suffered.
yeah,
It seemed
I
like
don't
for a
think
decade and a half almost, and now, or maybe this is just the market correcting in ways that you had fewer injuries for a while, and it's now just all piling up in 2022. But it is
no,
bizarre.
it's questionable that it all happened after Herb Schneider retired. He
Mm.
was the White Sox trainer forever, and the White Sox did. They were very limited in injuries. So, they also have different types of players now, though, too.
Yeah, it's
Like if you look at the size of like Lewis Robert
yeah.
and Yon Makata, and they're like big. They have big upper bodies, and that's a lot of muscle. That's a lot of weight, and it's
Robert is so big and strong. He can pull his tendons apart. It seems like.
yeah,
I
right.
felt
It's
like we talked about that last year, even. So
so I think some of that is in coaching, though, too. Like, you got to teach these guys how to. Like, it
well,
sounds so simple, but like just run and get to balls and do things correctly. I don't know.
I feel like so many of your injuries have happened running to first base. So
I
many,
know it's
and,
crazy.
and that's happening across the league. But it's almost like you got to tell everyone, stop hustling. We don't need to leg out every infield hit. If you're going to be gone
Honestly,
for 3
yeah,
weeks because of it or more, it might be worth just not getting thrown out or getting thrown out by half a step more often. Yeah, like
yeah,
you said, your other injuries keep happening in the outfield. Not that it's an abundance of collisions, but it seems like you mentioned earlier, it's avoidable with proper coaching.
yeah. How hard? How does someone who's played baseball their entire life know not to call for the ball, and or
I think
like
I
if you
don't.
hear the ball being called for, to back off?
Well, I think that's what's happening. It's not heard. I mean, it's not like it's always easy to hear in a major league stadium. So I wonder if that's a mitigating factor. You've also had so many different players, combinations of players that might not be
True.
used to each other, like a shortstop not used to being playing with the same left fielder. There might be some things that you get used to and who gets this ball and who doesn't. And I think maybe the shuffling of your lineup maybe has mitigated that. Not that I'm blaming TLR for that, but you've had so many different players playing different positions. Maybe there's just not the chemistry that you'd have if you had
Yeah.
similar
True.
players. So I don't know. There's so many questions about that. That's why I just kind of put it all under the nebulous title Wrath of Hahn.
Word Hole Media.